Delighted to welcome Claudia van der... Now, Weck or Weck?
Weck. The background is Dutch. My parents German, and I was born in Uruguay.
Goodness me, that's quite a mix.
Yes, interesting mix.
Now, you're a coach, you're a former player, and you specialize in promoting women's tennis in South America through your excellent podcast, which you set up with a player whose name I do remember. She reached the quarterfinals at Wimbledon back in 1991. Alas, I'm old enough to remember Laura Arraya.
Yes, Laura in Lima, she's my partner at this broadcast. She's a legend in South America, and we speak every day. She makes comments about the games she's watching from Lima through TV, and she has 10 years of memories of this place, and she's very emotional with all the stories that I bring over, and we analyze in detail what's going on the courts, because she's more the commentator of big scenes, and I'm more the analyst of the scientific part.
Okay, well, that's the perfect combination. I mentioned Beatriz Haddad Maia from Brazil through to the fourth round, the first lady from that country to get this far since Maria Bueno back in 1976. Obviously, she's got a tough one against Rebecca tomorrow, but what a fine run she's having. I did notice that the top two seeds in the boys' singles are both South American as well, and yet you don't consider South American players and grass court success in the same breath. So in terms certainly of what Haddad Maia is doing, and we're looking at for Luciana Perez Alarcon from Peru, who's the fourth seed in the girls' singles as well. Is something starting to happen in South America with the grass?
We are trying that it happens sometimes and in the future. The thing is, the rankings in juniors are different than in the pros, because if you play many tournaments in juniors, and the South American plays the complete COSAT circuit, which is all the countries in South America, and then they come over here with the development fund of the ITF that pays for some tournaments in Europe, because it's too expensive to play whole year for South American players. And Luciana, she got sponsored by the ITF some of the tournaments. She got a good ranking, and she did very well in Roland Garros. It was a little surprise against some Russian who are very tall and strong, but she's a big fighter. And the man, he's a little pro coming up that I hope you will see by the men's number one seeded from Bolivia, which is strange, from Bolivia, top player, but he's a very professional young player coming up.
Yeah, I think he might be playing Henry Searle, who is the top British junior as well. I'll have to check that, but it's an intriguing balance. The player we've all heard of, and who I've mentioned a couple of times, Beatriz Haddad Maia. I mean, she's got so much natural talent. How exciting is she to watch? How much are you enjoying seeing her develop again here on the grass this week?
Yes, she is a player who works very professionally. Also, her coach is I would say, one of the top coaches in the world at the moment, with a lot of experience also from the tournaments before. And she is tall, what you need today when you play one of the top 5 players, because the serve, the bodies, they are changing so much and they're getting so strong. And she's the player, from my point of view, that are on the list of the 10 possible that can do very, very good. And she's trying and she's doing well.
Yeah, she is. I mean, you've just mentioned, Raj, how well Rebecca is playing at the moment, but would you give Haddad Maia a reasonable percentage of a chance tomorrow?
Yeah, I would actually. She's a big ball striker herself. She doesn't lack for pace at all. And, you know, actually, years back, it's been fun to watch her development because years back she played doubles with one of the players I was working with, Petra Martic at the time, leading into the grass actually. And just to watch the physical improvement that she took on, she's gotten herself in much better shape, which is demanding for this sport. So she's moving much better. And, you know, I think one of her biggest assets is her fighting spirit. You just see that in her at all the time. She is a competitor. So I think that's one of the biggest assets she brings in addition to the pace that she hits with.
And I can almost hear Robbie Kay on commentary tomorrow going, "Oh, Maya me! Brilliant Beatrice makes it through to the quarterfinals." That's a name that could give you something to work with, Robbie.
Mamma mia! I think no, she's a proper player. It's interesting because last week I watched her on Sunday, just having some practice sets against Veronika Kudermetova, and the ball striking from both of them was out of this world. But the leftiness of Beatrice was the determining factor. I mean, it's just so tricky. She uses her leftiness to such good effect. You get lefty players who I think don't use their leftiness enough. And actually, Denis Shapovalov springs to mind. I still don't think he exploits his leftiness enough. But when I watched Beatrice play the other day, I think of a player like Adrian Manarino as well. They really exploit their leftiness so well. And that's what really stood out. You know, I'm like you. I like the interesting side of, I get into the technical side of the sport, and it was fantastic to watch them. She is going to be a handful. This is not a given for Rebecca, no chance.
Obviously, Claudia, you've got a huge territory that you cover. Is the podcast weekly? How do you set about making sure that you're giving equal coverage to all the different countries under your belt?
In South America, it's quite different than here in Europe, that the tennis community comes through the clubs, through the people who plays tennis. And then it goes to the newspapers, to the radio stations. First, we try to make it through the tennis community, that all the players said to other players in the clubs, we are doing something different. And also promoting and supporting the women tennis, which really is not promoted as it has to be. And the work starts from the federations, where you don't see women defending the interests of the women. But when good players are coming up, it changes everything, because if someone is in quarterfinal, you can't avoid to say she's a star, and all the little kids are asking, going to the clubs, and then everything changes. Like you remember Sabatini, she did a small revolution, but it's a long time ago.
So what you're saying, which is disappointing to hear, we're now in 2023, but in that part of the world, you are still fighting for the women to get an equal billing to the men.
Absolutely. And it starts from the club committees, to the federations committee, to the South American committees. If you see, there's really no women who have the chance to decide what's going to be with the women and to help to develop this game. And also the budgets. It's also a problem, because it's 80% going to the men. And the men, you have seen, there are many South Americans here competing, but only 3 women in the main draw. And it could be much more, but there's I call it legion of women tennis coming up, and we are supporting them not only with the press, also with information, because they don't really have information to develop and to grow up.
Well, all power to you with that campaign. And obviously, if Haddad Maya could go on a big run, and I'm going to be cheering on Luciana Perez Alarcon in the girls' singles. Now, I mean, do you think she can go deep on the grass?
You are making a hard question, because
Sorry.
she's a very big fighter, and what she did in Roland Garros was really a very big surprise. Here, the serve is really more important than on clay, and I would say the chances are not so big as on slower surfaces, but you never know, because her spirit of fighting is so big that we have to see every match what happens. And I hope she do well, because she's also a girl who the little girls are looking for, and as example to to try to make it good in juniors also.
Yeah. And I mentioned your partner on the podcast, Laura, quarter-finalist now, 32 years ago. Is she here?
She's not here, but she will be next year. We are
Okay.
preparing to be next year here in Common to do a very nice work, and we are growing. And the interest is growing from all over South America, and 10 different countries are now listening to the podcast.
And I mean, I should look this up, but can you remind us of some of the players that she beat on her way to
Wow.
the quarterfinals?
To the quarterfinals, I don't know, but I know she beat Celes. She has beaten very top players, and she was 10 years playing main draw. And number 14 is really...
Number 14 in the world.
Yes,
That's a
number
heck of
14.
an effort.
She is a legend. Like, she's now top 5 because Haddad beat her for 2 places after Roland Garros.
Okay. Right. Well, she won't mind that, will she?
No, but always I think everyone who plays that, wants to be the best. And I respect this because it happened to me also. But I only played here Federation Cup in Nottingham for Uruguay, which was a very nice experience many years ago.
Who did you play against?
China. And
Did you win?
No, we didn't win. It was such a big experience, and I remember the honorary director of the tournament was the Princess Diana. At this opportunity, we had the chance to know her, which was unbelievable memory that I have. But Uruguay, 3 million people competing on this world is not easy. But Pablo Cuevas, you will know him.
Of course.
I'm in touch with the coach nearly every day because he's a person who knows a lot about man tennis, and I'm very interested also in man tennis, and the scientific part that I like to improve every day. And Facundo Sabio, his coach, he's now training the best players of Uruguay.
And when you talk about the scientific side of things, without getting too technical, what in particular do you concentrate on?
Tennis has changed so much in the last 20 years that without science you cannot really try to be on the top, because you have to coordinate so many aspects of the mental, of the physical part, of the body that you need to know and to study all the time, or to work with people who has this knowledge, which usually are very expensive. So I try to learn. I studied in Germany also, high-level competition, and I try to help the players as good as I can, providing some information that you need today to improve. If not, you are working and you are not improving.
No. Well, I think we should get... I mean, Raj knows everything. So can I, with a little bit of a 25% backhander, can I send Raj over
Yes.
to Uruguay to share his... Do you fancy a few months?
I would take a trip over. That sounds
Yes,
fantastic.
you're very kind invited.
Excellent. Well, we're fixing things up as we go here on the
This Mark
Wimbledon
is
Radio Channel.
brokering things across the world.
The women tennis players in South America get a better shot of things. This is the 21st century.
Yes.
It's bad that it's not happening already. We wish Beatriz Haddad all the best against Elena Rybakina, and come on, Luciana Perez Alarcon. Is she playing today? We need to check the order of play. We're all going to go on the Wimbledon Radio Channel, and whoever she's playing against is going to be shocked, because suddenly there's going to be a lot of vocal support for Luciana Perez Alarcon of Peru.
Thank you very much for your invitation. It was a pleasure for me and an honor.
Pleasure to have you. That's Claudia van der Weck from the podcast Tennis Femenino. You're listening to the Wimbledon Radio Channel. It's 17 minutes before 11.